Look at me outside in nature, touching grass like all of you should be doing. In the span of only 10 minutes, 3 giant mosquitoes tried to bite me, and there's a fire ant somewhere around. I don't know where he went, but I'm gonna make this quick. It seems that lately people have been getting increasingly upset with events that show the massive disparities between the upper class and the middle to lower class. And of course, while things are always amplified by the internet, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not happening. Charging $20 for a single strawberry at Erewhon, giving entire vending machines an entire lifetime supplies worth of soda to influencers to promote at the Super Bowl, and inviting rich, well-off influencers to Coachella. Meanwhile, the peasants fight for the basic needs on the ground level.
We can't drink water. We can't go pee. They won't let us into any of the bathrooms. No bathrooms except for the staff, and the staff won't let us in.
Alright, you guys, night when I go to bed, this is how I set up my space. And I'm gonna close this. Anyway. I'm going to close.
I'm sorry, but that last clip had me dying so hard. I felt bad for laughing, but just him in that atmosphere was already hilarious enough. I really thought people were being exaggerate when they're saying, "Are you guys in the trenches?" and stuff like that. No, like, why is he actually like in a war zone? What is going on? And then the icing on the cake is that dude that just is basically dying in the other room. And this guy's sitting here trying to make this like cute aesthetic, this is my setup video. Meanwhile, everybody's just dying.
Okay guys, so this is what I brought with me to Coachella. First, this is the fit. Really cute, really demure. It says love because we only spread love here. And I got these cute little vintage sunglasses to wear with it. Well, they're just for looks anyway. Then I brought this really cute pink cup. It's not a Stanley, but we don't need the Stanley anyway. It's outdated. But it's this really cute, like, I don't really know if you can see that, but it's this really cute pink water bottle, and it keeps me hydrated because yes. I also have this bone. It's definitely very cute, fits the desert vibes, you know, it's giving anthropology. I didn't actually pack this with me, so I don't really know where it came from. Oh my gosh, wait, there's like more on the ground. Wait, oh my gosh, wait. Is that a dead body? Oh my gosh. Wait, like literally stop. Oh my gosh, that is an actual dead body. Oh my gosh. I have to take a picture of this. Oh my gosh, this is so true crime core.
Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail of what happened at Coachella because there are several people who had already talked about it in detail. As per usual, I don't really bring things up to talk about them, but more to use it as an example for my bigger concept. But just for a brief synopsis on what happened last season on the Hunger Games. By the way, quick side note, I have never watched the Hunger Games, so a lot of YouTubers were making references to like District 12, and I'm like, bro, what the heck is District 12? I didn't get anything at all, so I literally had to search it up like a boomer. Coachella, which is the yearly music festival that happens in California, they had people waiting in lines for hours just to get in, had them dying of dehydration, they couldn't use the bathroom, stinking because they're not able to use the showers in a timely manner because everybody's trying to use it and the line for that is stupid long too. And then once again, they were dying at nighttime because tents are placed in the middle of the desert and sand is flying everywhere, so everybody's inhaling a bunch of dust and dirt and coughing up black fluids or whatever. Meanwhile, influencers who are most likely probably already well off and have the expenses to actually pay to get into this event, they are being flown out by other brands and living their best life. They got their own showers, their own food, they got safe places to sleep away from the snakes, because there are snakes apparently.
Oh my god,
you guys are snakes.
And that's just kind of a recent instance of everyone talking about how out of touch this is and how it's unfair. Another instance, like I mentioned earlier, Erewhon and the $20 strawberry. I've already talked about Erewhon and went into the psychology of it all and the marketing. Yo, what's another one? It's a mosquito. I'm gonna get bit up out here, bro. If y'all see a mosquito on me, y'all gotta yell mosquito. We're gonna play it like Dora, okay? When y'all say, if you see a mosquito, yell mosquito. Don't worry, I'll definitely hear you if you Yeah, loud enough. That's definitely how this works. So now Erewhon is just seeing what it can get away with by selling a singular strawberry. I kid you not, it is one little strawberry in a little case for $20 apparently. Why is the strawberry $20, you might be asking? Because it was imported from Kyoto, Japan. Of course it's gonna be that expensive. No questions asked, no questions on why it's, really what's the nutrients, benefits, why it's so important. Nope, everybody just hears it's from Japan. Oh my gosh, the perfect country in the world. Okay, well, I'm not gonna argue with that. Now, I've heard people say that Japanese fruit is very, very good. Bro, it can't be that good that you expect me to pay $20 for one singular berry. It needs to cure every single ailment that is within my body if I'm really about to spend $20 on it, okay? And then when watching some of the videos, some of them eat it and then act all surprised that it just tastes like a regular strawberry, as if it was supposed to taste like anything else. Now, I know that there's going to be some people who's ready to defend them and fight for all of their favorite influencers. Are you ever tired of complaining about everything? Are you ever tired of hating? You just hate to see them happy? I actually don't care. Do I think it's ridiculous? Yeah. Everybody does. Anyone with a functioning frontal lobe would think that. But does it bother me? I mean, not really, because it's not like it's anything new. Eccentricism of, people who have money to just throw it away is nothing new. So yeah, I'm not exactly upset more than I am just amused, because it's just interesting to watch human behavior like this. But overall, a commonality that you see with people addressing these types of things and talking about them in the thumbnail and description is that they'll mention the let them eat cake mantra. Celebrities and influencers who are completely out of touch, that flaunt their excessive wealth and an extreme excess of materialistic items that they don't need, meanwhile the rest of us struggle. Like I said, this has been an ongoing trend for YouTubers and TikTokers and stuff to talk about, especially very recently with all these events happening. But one of the more memorable topics for me was the Poppi incident. So if you're unfamiliar with the Poppi controversy, Poppi is a soda brand that makes their drink more healthy, and they put prebiotics in it, which, helps with gut health and stuff. And a few months ago, people were criticizing this company for sending these giant vending machines to influencers' houses and ungodly amounts of their soda around the Super Bowl in order to promote it. And once again, a lot of people are saying that this was very out of touch, very excessive. You could have put these vending machines in other places like hospitals or colleges or schools or literally anywhere else where people may actually need them, and not give them to individual influencers, just to promote and market. Now, this is a quick tangent, but I do want to address it because I think that argument could definitely bleed into some murky water. Because at the end of the day, they are a business, and I'm not saying that all businesses or people who are trying to make money do it with the sole intent to make money. Money can be one of the things, but it also can be a mission that you're trying to, complete. So yeah, it would be nice to have them install these into schools and stuff like that. But I feel like it could very easily become a situation of, look at all these poor people that I helped type of thing. And sure, you can argue it's for the greater good. And essentially it would still help, but it could very easily go from, I really want to help these people, to, no, this is just what people want to see me do. So I'm going to do it, not because I actually care, but because more people will like me. Performative activism, basically, which you see a lot of nowadays. But at the end of the day, it's mainly just for profit. And it's not like everybody doesn't do certain things for their own personal gain. I mean, me, for example, when I talk about certain things that I'm passionate about, yes, I'm passionate about it, but I also have a strategy in place that, okay, I think this is also a topic that other people like, so it will get me a lot of views and a lot of money. I won't make a video of anything that I genuinely don't care about, hence the reason why I let so many trends go and don't bother to talk about them. But still, again, even when I do choose certain topics, it's because I am passionate about them and I care about them, but also because I think it will do well. Oh, there's a glare. Hold on, let me fix that. It just could very quickly become, I'm just doing it because I know people will like it. And funnily enough, Olipop, so Olipop is basically like Poppi, it's just a competitor brand, but it's the same exact idea. It's like healthier soda or whatever. They went seriously on the offensive, taking advantage of everybody dunking on Poppi, popping up in certain people's comment section and being like, that's why we donated to firefighters, or that's why we donated to the fires in Los Angeles, or exposing, certain amounts of money that they spend, like, oh, it's $25,000 a vending machine. First of all, how do they know that information? Second of all, it's just very hilarious to see because, again, they probably don't care either, but it's the perfect opportunity to capitalize on their competitor. And once again, everybody's falling for it, being like, see, that's why I love Olipop, because they're doing the right thing with their money. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what they want you to say. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe they do genuinely care about these issues, but they wouldn't need to attack another company for that. They could just do the thing. They don't need to brag about it. So obviously a lot of it is to push their brand and help them out. But anyways, so let's get back on track. And a lot of people were asking, why would they do this? Because this is so out of touch and it doesn't make sense to do something like this, because a lot of people, didn't like it and were kind of bashing and complaining about it. But what I do find to be very interesting is why so many people specifically got mad at this instance of a marketing campaign, being over the top and expensive, because companies always spend a ridiculous amount of money to promote their ads for the Super Bowl. $2,500 or $25,000 is like the lower end of that. I mean, Alexa paid, I think it was like $26 million to Scarlett Johansson and her husband to do an ad that was only like a minute and a half long. So I mean, $25,000 to send like a couple influencers a machine that they ended up taking back, which is so hilarious. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll give it to you, but we need it back. Okay, we can't afford to let you have that. I'm sorry. It just is interesting that this specific campaign got people riled up when I feel like this isn't really anything new. And this isn't me trying to defend Poppy, of course. Do I think it's ridiculous to do this? Of course I do. Being sent all those cans of soda, more than they're probably ever even going to be able to drink, it doesn't make any sense. But it's just like, that's what advertisers kind of always do. So I guess I just am confused as to why this instance was particularly upsetting. And after thinking about it a little bit, I came to the conclusion that I don't think it's just the absurdity of it all, but just the people who it was given to. TikTok influencers. Normal people who just so happen to get famous and rich on TikTok, meaning you really could have given it to anybody. It has a different element than giving Scarlett Johansson, this really big famous actor, versus these TikTok influencers who make the same content that everybody else does, just doing silly dances in their room and being conventionally attractive, and now they're famous. So with that, it seems more like they're more down to this level than like all the way up here with the S-tier celebrities and rich people. And as for why Poppy decided to choose TikTok influencers to promote it, well, one, the obvious reason, it's cheaper, because, if you did get somebody like Scarlett Johansson for an ad, best believe you're not spending $25,000, so it's a lot cheaper to give it to lower peasant level TikTok influencers. I'm not saying that to be mean. I mean, like, this is what businesses are seeing, right? It's like me when I promote, I've done sponsorships before, and people look at me, I am nowhere near like the big YouTubers on the platform. So obviously I get less payment for my promotions. It's the same exact concept here. But number two, also a very simple and obvious explanation. Isn't this what you guys enjoy watching anyway? The restocking my fridge, the organizing my millions of kitchen appliances, the making a whole bunch of decorative ice balls and putting them in the freezer, the organizing my extensive makeup and skincare hoard, the restocking my work desk, the running to Trader Joe's for the same bags you just got last year, the running to Target for 1 million of the same type of cup, the buying a bunch of junk you'll never use on Temu, the running to the store for copious amounts of cookies, fighting each other for a bunch of Hello Kitty themed items. Like, should I keep going? Or have a whole list? Okay, I can keep going if you want. The thing is, a lot of y'all actually enjoy the excess genre of content. They do really well, and a lot of people even fantasize and romanticize being able to have such large amounts of things. So it was completely on brand to put an over-the-top vending machine to individual influencers' houses to restock them with a bunch of sodas that they aren't going to drink, and market it to a bunch of people on TikTok who watch that content daily. But the difference here is, while many people can just waltz into a store and spend a bunch of money on Hello Kitty items, or spend a bunch of money on a bunch of Stanley cups, or even buying a bunch of clothes and stuff on Shein or Temu or something like that, the Poppy vending machines were sent. So it's not something that, everybody on TikTok can just kind of indulge in. So it might have been a case where like a lot of people were just jealous, like, because this type of content does well and there's clearly a demographic for it. And again, after showing how every single month there is a new item that everyone is running to the store for to buy copious amounts of, so much so that stores have to put a max limit on how much they can buy, people secretly like the idea of having a dramatic excess of certain things in their life. And if put in a situation where you could have some of these things that these influencers have that you are getting mad about, would you really say no? For example, the whole Coachella thing. So again, you got millions of people who are suffering in the deserts, being denied basic care for certain things, not truly being able to enjoy the experience because everyone is just suffering, living in District 12, as a lot of YouTubers have been saying. Meanwhile, the influencers are being flown out even though they have the funds to pay for it and living like kings and queens. Now, if a brand sent you an email saying, hey, we'd like to send you to one of the biggest events in the country, but completely for free. All expenses are paid for. We will fly you out there. We just need you to give a little promo or just talk about our brand a little bit. But other than that, you get to go out there and enjoy yourself for free. VIP bus, VIP room, front row seats to your favorite celebrities. Are you saying yes or no? Come on. Do not lie to me. You know you're not going to say no. You know you won't. You just won't. You're going to be in your little condo, sipping on your little cocktail while ignoring the wails and cries of the distressed over in District 12, okay? Assuming that you like that type of environment, okay? Let's give the hypothetical, because I can already hear people going, well, actually, I don't really care for... No, let's say that you did. Like, if I were to be invited to Coachella, I would say no. Not because I'm a saint, but because I literally hate parties. First of all, I hate the heat, so standing outside in the heat does not sound like a good thing for me. I don't like being in large crowds of people. I get very overstimulated. It's just not great for me. I get irritable, I get anxious, and I just don't want to be there anymore. And most of the artists who are going to perform, I don't care to see anyway. So like, purely off of the fact that it's just not something that is appealing to me, no. If they send me an email saying like, hey, we'll fly you out there, I would say no, just because I know I wouldn't have a good time. But if I did like all of those things, then yeah, I'm saying yes. I'm saying sure. I'll fly out there for free. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, sure, you get mad, but it's really because you're not the one in the position. You're upset that you can't be a part of the club more than the club is just unfair. Because ultimately, status symbols have always been a big part of society and culture. Doing things or buying things just for the sake of having them, just so you can say, hey, I did this thing or I bought this thing. Again, that's why people feel the need to go running out to buy the newest thing every month. Because, oh my gosh, your favorite influencer on TikTok and on YouTube, they got it, so now I have to get it too. Now, if I want to be like them, if I want to have the status that they have, I need it too. And that's another thing too. You know that everybody wants to be a part of this big club that we're not invited to, because everyone is always pretending to be rich. If we didn't value something like that, then people would not feel the need to do that. The rich is a very small percentage of us, okay? They are at the very, very tippy top of the pyramid. So please explain to me how all of y'all TikTok people can just afford all the skincare, afford all these Stanley Cups, afford all these hauls. How? The majority of us are broken poor, okay? So there's an imposter among us. The majority of these people flaunting the type of stuff that they flaunt are not well off like they try to make it seem like they are. They're taking pictures and videos of things and sending them back, going into massive debt just to temporarily have certain things, and making a bunch of very, very financially irresponsible decisions. Like some of y'all literally going on payment plans just to go to Coachella. Now here's the thing. I'm not trying to say the majority and everybody is just money hungry and don't actually care about certain problems or other people, and all they care about is being a part of this big club, okay? Because most of us do. I know I do. Of course, I still do care that it is a little bit strange that you give a lot of money to individual influencers, meanwhile so many people don't even have anything to eat. And a lot of people do recognize and acknowledge how messed up that is. However, I'm just saying that we are still human. And humans have a tendency to work in favor of their own self-interest most of the time. Ultimately, we want nice things. We want to buy stuff that makes us happy. We fantasize being able to take spontaneous, expensive trips and buy luxury items, and run around in a mansion just once, and fly on a private jet just once, and buy an elephant and keep it as a pet just once, even if we won't admit these things to ourselves. Oh, no, not that last one. Was that just me? Nobody wants a pet elephant. Okay. And for most of us, especially now, we just want to be able to take care of ourselves while still having fun. Most of us have to spend our entire checks on groceries and rent alone, while still wondering how we're going to pay for everything else for the rest of the month. A lot of leisure activities are stuck behind a paywall and they're stupid expensive. And because all of us are lonely and have absolutely zero friendships, it's not like we can just chill out and hang out and talk to people. Most people fantasize and try to cosplay that better life because obviously they feel like they'll feel better with it, which of course in many aspects it will. While I am a very big believer in the money can't buy happiness mantra, you can't deny the fact that having more money will obviously help your state of living, which can indirectly and directly change your mood and outlook on life, as well as give you more opportunities. In which, of course, this conversation tends to go into politics and economics, capitalism versus socialism, and, all that other type of stuff. Stuff that I'm absolutely not going to get into, nor am I going to try to argue about it. Why, you might be asking? Because I'm simply not educated enough to do so. And I know some of you are going to be like, that's not an excuse, then educate yourself then. Oh, you can't just feign ignorance, that's not a defense. I know that, okay? I know that. I know eventually I need to learn about the systems and all that other type of stuff because I don't understand them. But something like that is going to take a lot of time because it's not an easy concept. It's something that will take a lot of time to look up and research and understand, the nuance and the complexities of it all, the philosophies behind it and how it affects, people on individual and systemic scale. There's a lot of components that go into it. And I can't fully understand these complexities by reading the first article that I see on Google and watching one video essay about it and suddenly thinking I know everything about the subject. You know how like some of y'all tend to act? fact, I need some time to actually conclude how I truly feel about these systems. All systems have its ups and downs and can be abused in a type of way. So it's not like there's one magic, system that's going to fix everything. Historically, we can go back and see certain systems crumble and cause more mayhem than good. And I'm a little bit biased because, of course, I benefit from capitalism. Not that I'm like rich and well off. I'm out here struggling too. But with things like YouTube and sponsorships and just little side hustles and, personal little businesses here and there, I want to make a good, decent amount of money so I can help my mom out. And just the fact that I love things like consumer psychology and marketing, and I want to go into that field. So, I have to learn the ins and outs of a subject before I just go spewing out nonsense. So I'm not going to sit here and argue which system is better or worse or how we fix this problem, because I don't have the solution to that problem. However, you don't have to be an economist to see that something isn't functioning right. Because people are going into debt, taking out loans, maxing out credit cards, and going completely broke just to try to be rich or seem rich, I guess. Life isn't about the experience anymore. It's about the status. It's about what things represent and not what it actually is. Ugh. We all, in some type of way, want to be a part of the big club. We all want to, and there's no need to be shy about it. We all would love to enjoy life's pleasantries while not having to worry about whether or not you can pay rent or eat dinner. We're all just, in a way, mad that we can't be a part of the big club. And yes, of course, like I said, I understand that for a lot of people, they're going to be like, oh, no, actually, it's just a distribution of wealth. Yes, I understand. But in a way, don't tell me that there hasn't been one moment in your life where you have fantasized having a good amount of money and being able to do stuff with that money. To a certain degree, we all kind of want to be a part of the club. But maybe we don't have to be. Maybe we don't really need to be a part of the club in the first place. Maybe just some regular fruit from a fruit stand or the supermarket, maybe that'll suffice. Maybe just one Stanley Cup or one Trader Joe's bag. Maybe that'll do the trick. I mean, it's not like you got much in that bag anyway. You broke. You ain't got nothing in your wallet. It's empty. And maybe, just maybe, you don't need to spend $1,000 on a parking ticket to basically just turn into air-fried human being while you sit in a pool of your own stinking sweat listening to your favorite artist. Maybe we just don't need that. Maybe we just need to enjoy the little things instead of being obsessed with the excess. Buying a bunch of things and having a bunch of things. Let's start actually experiencing instead of idolizing a status, like I'm doing now. I'm deciding to be outside in nature. It actually is really nice outside today. And this is free. I didn't have to pay anything for this. So, just do simple things. It doesn't always have to be big, extravagant, spending money things, Just try to do little things and you'll realize how much the simple things can make you happy. With that being said, that's all I have to talk about today. I am itching so bad because I got bit up so many times. You guys have not been doing your job. I asked you to tell me when there were mosquitoes and you did not do that. Shame on all of you. But yeah, I'm gonna head home. Thank you all so much for watching and I will see you in the next video.